It's a lovely sunny day here today, so I'm going to show you how I made these cushions using sunlight. I bought these solarfast dies a while ago. They activate when exposed to UV. Anything placed on top of the die will stop it developing and you'll have a shadow which creates the image. So I've got yellow, violet and red, and I plan to use all three colours today. The first step is to plan the design. I want to use some plants and flowers from the garden with a quote. So I've chosen these two quotes to go in the centre of the cushions. I need to print these onto this film and fingers crossed it doesn't smudge. I noticed as this was printing it wasn't very opaque, so I decided to do a little test first before printing on the cushions to see if this is good enough to block the sun. It's also a chance to see how these colours develop. I'm using some mixed media paper for the test and using all three dies to see how it all looks. With this yellow it seemed quite strong, like it had somehow already developed in the bottle. I tried to thin it out but I wasn't expecting it to look like this now. The purple and the red looked okay and went on a lot cleaner. So I'll see when I put this in the sun if the yellow develops anymore. One huge mistake I made was to touch the print on this film. I thought it had already dried, but obviously not. Yeah, I can't really use this anymore. I was able to reuse the film, the ink washed off really easily, so I'm glad I tested this all first. I could have destroyed the cushion covers before I'd even started. I'll try with the other quote. So while the paper is outside developing, I wanted to pick some flowers to use on the cushions. I picked these daisies, some leaves and flowers from this bush, some bits from this bush and some dandelions. Now unfortunately the film blew off the paper and all the dye underneath activated. I wasn't sure if this print was going to be dark enough anyway to block the sun, so the test was a bit of a disaster, but I've learned a few things. So the first thing, I don't think the print was opaque enough, so I've reprinted and gone over the text with an acrylic marker quite a few times to make it as dark as possible. The second thing, the wind blew the film off, so I'm going to use some glass from a picture frame to lay on top and hold everything in place. The third thing, the yellow for some reason seems to have already activated. It's gone a bit darker from being out in the sun, so I'm not sure if I'm going to use it. And number 4, I need to make sure the brush that I'm using is dry, as I've got some watermarks here. I might grab a couple more brushes, one for each of the dies. I'm going to do one cushion at a time. To stop the dye bleeding through to the back of the cushion, I'm going to be putting some paper in the middle of the cover. These are 100% cotton cushion covers. Now I'm going to plan out the design, so I think I'll have the quote slightly off centre. I thought it might be a good idea to lightly mark out where the film ends, so when I paint on the die I know how far I need to go. Something like this is what I was thinking. I'm hoping that I can get some nice shadows from these leaves and flowers. I'm going to put the text directly on top of the cushion and have the flowers lay on top, then add the glass onto that. I've chosen the red and purple dies for the first cushion. I'm surprised how differently this goes on compared to the paper. I didn't need too much on the paper, but the fabric needed a lot more as the dye was absorbing it. I switched the lights off too to make sure the space was as dark as possible. Now let's place everything down and put this outside. The UV is high today, so I'm thinking about 10 to 15 minutes in the sun should be enough to activate everything. This hasn't been outside too long. I'm just hoping that when I remove everything that I've got some nice shadows there. The dye has gone quite dark, so I think it's nearly time to bring this inside and give it a wash. Also, because I've taken this outside while the dye was still wet, I've got some sweating behind the glass, so I'll have to see what that looks like after it's washed and dried. Look at this. It turned out much better than I thought it would. I'm going to get a proper shot of this later. So while the first cushion was being washed, I decided to do the second one. I wanted to use the yellow, even though I'm a bit unsure about it. I have one good cushion, so if the other doesn't work as well, it doesn't really matter if this one isn't as good. I'm going to spread the yellow out as much as I can and use up the rest of the plants I picked. Unfortunately, my camera gave up, so I didn't record the second cushion developing, but it was the same process as the first. The only difference was I left it outside for about 10 minutes instead of the 15 minutes with the first one. After washing both covers and letting them dry overnight, let's have a look at how they turned out. I'm really happy with this first cushion. There's some good shadows here with the daisies and the leaves. They're a bit blurry because they weren't flat and created a shadow, so as the sun moved it sort of part developed little bits, but I'm happy with it. I forgot to mention earlier that this is my first go at using solar dye, and after the testing disasters I wasn't very confident that this would work as good. I'm really happy with the lettering too. I think using the acrylic marker definitely helped. The second cushion I'm not so happy with, mainly because of the yellow, but I thought that might be the case. There's just something a bit off with it compared to the other two colours. The flowers at the top there look a bit like birds, and we do have some nice detail from the daisies and the leaves too. This one is pinker because I only left it out for 10 minutes, so didn't develop as much. Someone also pointed out that I should have used blue and green. Maybe I should have just chosen a different quote because I didn't have blue or green dye. I'm using stick-on Velcro on these to seal them once I've put the stuffing in. Just gonna put it near the top. I'm using this soft polyester stuffing for the inside. I'll fill the covers in as much as I can. And these are the cushions all fully stuffed and closed. I think the cat liked them. Let me know in the comments if you've tried using these dyes and how you found them. I wonder if you have the same experiences that I did. But I think now I've done it once, next time the result will be even better. I'll show these up close. You can see the watermarks there, so I think it's probably best to dry the fabric first overnight, then expose to the sun. I'm doing some new creative challenges this year. Previously I've tried glass art and made this air dry clay pot. I'm trying things I haven't done before, so I'm going to pick out the next thing to make, which is decoupage. Let me know if you liked the video by giving it a thumbs up. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.